Hello, and welcome to Salem, Massachusetts, a town that we've both wanted to visit for a very long time, and we are finally here for the very first time. We parked right outside of Salem Common, which is this lovely park, just like a nice green space that's really close to the central town area, and there's free parking all around, at least allegedly, so hopefully our car's there when we get back. But yeah, plenty of parking getting here fairly early in the morning, so that's a win. Free parking. All right, let's go see the town. Salem is most famous for the witch trials that happened here in 1692, which I'm sure you're probably aware of. We just stopped in the visitor center because we haven't really been here. I mean, we've never been here before, and we wanted to kind of get ourselves acclimated. The visitor center is run by the National Park Service, and they told me it's because there's a whole maritime historic site that has replicas of ships and things like that. So we'll probably go check that out. But also he gave me a map and really kind of laid out like the town and everything. It's really only about a mile long stretch of like most of the historic sites that you'd like to see, or most people would like to see. So we're gonna go do that. We also downloaded an audio tour that will kind of guide us through this. So we'll check that out. Our audio tour said that the Sam Pickman house right here is allegedly haunted, and that basically normal guy that went insane and killed his wife and daughter, and that Salem is full of spooky stories like that. So maybe Carly's freaking out today for a reason. Maybe there's just spooky vibes here. Because I feel like she's been pretty good lately, but she is definitely like not having a good day today. This is the Salem Witch Trials Memorial. It serves as a memorial to the 20 people who were tried and executed during the Salem Witch Trials. And one thing that's kind of interesting is our audio tour, well, it mentioned that the first few people who were tried were poor women who were basically helpless and were coerced into giving a confession. There's a little bench with each person. They say who they were, the date they were executed, and the means that they were executed. It kind of started off with kids accusing somebody of weird stuff, and the audio tour we took is kind of alluding to the fact that maybe it's actually just like the fact that Salem is spooky that this stuff was happening. I'm more of a believer of people were trying to persecute people that didn't need to be persecuted, so I don't know. I'm not sure. I wasn't there. I don't think we'll ever know, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Salem has the weird spooky happenings that people allege? Some of them have beautiful dried flowers on them. Maybe they didn't start out as dried flowers though. Right next to the memorial is the old burying point. This is the oldest cemetery in Salem, and it dates back to 1637, I think, which, wow. Our history doesn't get a lot older than that here in the United States, so to see a cemetery that old is really incredible. Interestingly enough, although it's right next to the memorial, the victims of the Salem witch trial are not buried here. I don't think they were allowed to be, but some notable people are. Probably the most famous grave here is John Hawthorne. He was a judge in the Salem witch trials and coerced a lot of people into convincing them that people that they know were bad witchy people. I mean, how else do you say that, right? Some of these headstones are just so incredibly interesting looking. Carly got to come into the burying ground too, huh? We've been pretty lucky because we've had a lot of places, a lot of cemeteries have let us carry her in. Yeah. Even though they don't technically allow dogs, but they told us that she could come in as long as we stay on the path. Yeah. That was a really neat cemetery. I do not think we've ever been to a cemetery that old, so definitely check that out, as well as the actual memorial that's next to it. Also, when we were in there, I was noticing all these headstones. The backs of them had like these weird scratch marks on them. One of the people here told me that it is just how they cut them. They cut the back of them and they made the front all pretty, and the back's cut the way the back's cut. So kind of interesting. One thing that I was afraid of about coming to Salem is that it seems really touristy. And if you're like me wondering, is it touristy? Well, I think the name Which City Mall might answer your question. Yes, but it's actually like a really cool town. It has pretty cool vibes here, and unless you ask our dog, she doesn't think so. Which City Mall is about what you would expect inside, but there are actually some pretty cool looking shops. When we first got here, it was still pretty early, and I thought that maybe just shops weren't open yet, but I think a lot of them are still closed right now, which is interesting because we're in like the heat of the summer. Probably got hit pretty hard last year with the lack of tourism though. These are actually like pretty cool. I would play paddleball if it was with a paddle that was a classic horror monster. I don't know if like they're closed for the season, just for the day, but this is definitely like the part of Salem that I feel like you'll be more into, is like the cool horror themed nerdy stuff. Also, maybe it's just me, but I feel like it's really a missed opportunity for there not to be a Buffy themed magic shop, right?
That's fair.
Magic box? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the magic box.
There should really be a magic box here, I'm just saying. And it should be filled with Buffy memorabilia.
I'd be down.
Me too. There are all kinds of like museums and weird things here, but I feel like we have mixed reviews, but this one, it looks pretty good. The Witch Mansion Haunted House.
Spooky.
Yeah, Carly would hate it, so
yeah.
She's probably not allowed, so we'll move on. Just found the cutest store ever. It's got like all kinds of vintage inspired fashions. They have sizes in there up to 4X. It's lovely, and I wanted one of everything, but not on the budget today. That was a bunch of fun in there.
Yeah, they have a lot of cool stuff.
They had all kinds of cool stuff. I don't know about you, but I'm getting hungry.
I am too getting hungry.
We're in luck because just around the corner is a cute dog themed cafe. Let's go.
Let's go.
There's a little bit of a wait. We have to wait for a table, but that's okay because there's a cool Bewitched statue right here.
There really is.
Which seems weird, but I guess they actually filmed some of like the end of the show here when I don't even remember where I saw that, but I saw that like the studio burned or something, and so they ended up filming like the last couple seasons here in Salem randomly. I don't know. I mean, she's a witch, I guess that makes sense,
yeah.
But it's kind of silly.
It is a little bit.
It's also kind of random because Elizabeth Montgomery was also in the Lizzie Borden movie that there was a piece of her wardrobe from in the Lizzie Borden house when we stayed there. So it's kind of like feels like things have come full circle. Also, if you've never been to the Lizzie Borden house, I highly recommend that. If you want to check out that video, we'll leave it up here. That was a fun, spooky time. And if you're into Salem, you'll probably be into that too. They have an excellent beer selection.
They do.
And cider. I ended up getting a Stormalong cider from Sherborne, Massachusetts. And Jeremy got a Rodenbach from London, which sounds like Swedish or something. Swedish, probably? You got a very far away. But that, I guess, goes to show like they have a variety of beers from like local to across the world. Our food was good. Her service was so slow that by the time our food actually came, we just sat in silence and like gobbled it down. I think we were both getting pretty hangry. You got a turkey sandwich that had like mustard and
Apple butter. And
yeah, it was good.
It was good, yeah.
I got the Cluck Norris. It was like a buffalo chicken wrap. It was fine. We waited like 30 minutes for a table, even though there were like many open tables. I think they were just like really slow. I feel like $14 for a smallish wrap with a bag of chips was like kind of overpriced, combined with like not the best service, but maybe it was just a fluke. I feel like people after us got seated very quickly, and like, I don't know, they have great reviews, so maybe we just happened to like have just a minor weird like bad experience among a lot of other good experiences. I don't know. I'd be willing to try it again. Right here behind me is the Witch House. It was the home of Judge Jonathan Corwin. When we stopped at the visitor center earlier, they told us that we should definitely come take a look because it is the last remaining structure, the only one left in Salem that actually has ties to the Salem witch trials. So it's pretty neat. You can actually take a tour of the inside. There are all kinds of like museums that have like mids reviews on them here. If we didn't have the dog with us, this might be one that we'd actually want to see the inside of. It looks pretty cool. Walking around Salem, there is a lot of new construction, which I was a little bit surprised by. So it is neat to see that there are still some like really neat houses and structures from the 1600s, even if they are few and far between. Just down the street from the witch house, this is the Ropes Mansion. It was built in 1727 and was actually featured in the movie Hocus Pocus, and a lot of other places around here were too. So we made a whole video about it. If you want to see it, there's a link right up here if you want to check that out. Can we just talk about how cool the fence is? Like, the fence alone is very fancy looking, and you can tell there's all these rhododendron bushes around, all kinds of flowers. It smells lovely around here, doesn't it?
It smells pretty nice.
Let's go do some like more shopping. I think that's been like the highlight for both of us, right?
Potentially, yeah.
This store called Twilight House. It's the best store. I mean, anytime that you find capes, a selection of them,
Fair.
You know you're in the right place. Well, when I set out today, I said I'm either gonna get my tarot reading done here or I'm gonna buy a new deck of tarot cards, and I just bought a new deck of tarot cards, so I think we're set today. I think like all the goals that we wanted to accomplish, we did. We saw quite a bit. What do you think? Do you like Salem?
Yeah, it's cool. It's still touristy, but it's actually a little less touristy than I kind of thought it was.
I agree. Salem is one of those places that like I've known about for so long, and I think I had pretty high expectations, but then going into like researching what it was actually like, it seemed like it was gonna be very touristy. And it is touristy, but like it's really cool. I'm really excited. Like, we found so much cool stuff. Wish we could have purchased all of it. And yeah, we had a great day here. So we are heading to New Hampshire for the evening. We're gonna spend the day tomorrow in Portsmouth, and then we're gonna head on up to Maine. So come along and hang out with us in Maine too. We'll see you soon.